Yo, what is good, everyone?
What's going on, guys? What's up? What's up? Welcome to what is this, episode 3 or episode 4?
Episode 4. Episode
Oh yeah,
4, technically.
yeah. We had
Episode
we had
3 is in the
technical
books.
technical issues with episode 3, but what's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 4 of Senpai Talk show. So today, obviously, we know with everything going on with the quarantine and COVID-19, everything like that. Everybody's missing sports a little bit or a lot of it. I don't know about you, Chris, but I know this time I didn't realize I was gonna miss sports as much as I do. I'd be willing, like, I'm not a big baseball guy, but I would
Yeah.
love to sit down and just watch 9 innings right now. You feel me?
Yo,
But
I am shook. Like, especially for those who don't know, my main job besides this is working for the NBA. So like, for the past 4 years, yo, I've literally, I've literally just been like basketball during this time. Like, this is playoffs. Like, this is like
yeah,
middle of the playoffs. So right now, I I thought I would be like most of the time I'd be like like whatever, like basketball, same thing, like every single day. But now, like, whenever basketball's on, I'm like, yes, like like let's
yeah,
go. Like, I miss it. I play more basketball now that that we've been in like quarantine. Luckily, I have a hoop set up on my house, so I'm able to like shoot around. But I play way more basketball than I ever have.
yeah, man. No, I definitely feel you. I feel you there. I wish, obviously, as you know, some of our listeners might not know, but I played pro soccer for a couple of years.
hmm
Um, but right now, like, all I want to do is go to a field and kick around, and I can't even do that because all the schools are closed, the parks are closed, and they
hmm
have all the goals like locked up in chain defenses. So it's really killing me right now. But good thing we got sports and anime, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we jump into that, I want to give a quick shout out to all the healthcare workers out there, essential personnel, anybody that is doing their part to help out with all the craziness that's going on in our world right now. So shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Arigato gozaimasu. You're very much appreciated. But let's just jump into some sports anime and give the people what they want because everyone's deprived of
Of
just
sports.
the good old sports world right now.
All right, here we go. So, shout out to the latest follower, Rip Toxic V. Thank you for the follow. We are
Yeah,
here
shout
every
out.
week, Wednesday and Sunday, for your anime talk pleasure, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Chris, real quick before we start this off,
Yes.
in your eyes, what makes a good sports anime? What do you look for in a sports anime?
Ooh, that is a very, very good question. So, what I look for in a sports anime is, I think you need to have like that that nice blend of realism, but then also exaggeration. So there are some anime that will go on and it's literally like, oh, like you're just watching a sport, but it's just animated. Like, you might as well, you can play. It's like a video game basically. But then there's other anime that have, you can the guys jump like crazy. We'll talk about it later. Haikyuu. You jump really like you're crazy. You have like the crossovers. I think one of my favorite things is like Supreme Dreams, when he does
Mm.
the basketball. He's like basketball and anime be like, and he's like, oh, this is the crossover, the power of the handle god. And
Yeah, yeah,
when they make anything that's normal, like simple or normal to people that watch normal sports, when they give it like that little bit of exaggeration, I think that's kind of what I look for in a sports anime. And plus, I need that anime little ad libbing. So, when something
mm.
happens, they need to be like, "Oh, impossible!" or like "Nani, the crossover." Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
I think that's what I need. What about you? What do you need?
All right, yeah, no, I definitely sympathize and feel exactly what you're saying there. Another thing with me, again, obviously with the realistic side of things,
hmm
like you said, you just need that like little bit of anime touch to it, but not too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's funny when it's too much, but then if the whole show is like that, it's kind of like, okay, I was here. Especially for me, when I watch a sports anime, most of the time I'm looking for sports.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm looking for a good balance of obviously the anime aesthetic and anime craziness, but also still sticking with sports.
Yeah.
Another thing that I like though, and we'll talk about it in some of the shows that come up, is an underlying story within the sports anime itself.
Mm.
So a lot of anime they'll have a lot of sports anime they'll have the sport on the surface, but there's something going on underneath everything, and I like when it again has a perfect balance of that,
Yeah, you
so
need a
that
little
you're getting
struggle.
so you're getting a storyline as well as the sport.
Hmm. And I
So
think
yeah.
I think on the flip side of that too, how you were saying like you need that anime touch. You don't want it to be, you don't want it to be too realistic. And an anime we were talking about before, in like the pre-show, basically we are talking before this, is an anime. It's called All Out, and it was a rugby anime, and it was literally just straight up them playing rugby. There wasn't anything special. It wasn't like, oh, this guy has,
Mm,
this guy's way stronger than the other. This guy has a super move or something like that. It
yeah.
was literally like, oh, I'm just gonna play rugby. And then they played like one or two matches, and then if you look on like any anime website, that has such low ratings because there was nothing that separated All Out from watching regular. Like, I would rather watch real rugby highlights than watch
Hmm.
an animated rugby with nothing special about it.
For sure, for sure. I
But
definitely feel that.
but on that note, let's get into our first anime. So
Yeah, let's dive on in.
this is one that you picked. So you could tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so basically, it's called Days, as you can see. So Days follows the story of two friends, Skishi and Jean.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like the main character of the show, and he is just not athletically adept or skilled in the game of soccer at all. Whereas Jean is like he's like the second coming or next coming of Pele or
Oh shit.
Maradona. Like he's like this soccer genius. And again, this one is a show that it follows their friendship and Skishi's struggle to make the soccer team and
Okay.
also become a star of the soccer team. And obviously, I watched it because me being a soccer guy, so I was like, I always
Oh,
like to
for
see
sure.
shows that are somewhat relatable to me.
Mm.
But this is one of those shows that like the story of it, I think could have been good, but it really wasn't executed well because
Oh damn.
it's a typical like underdog story, but the way that Skishi just like because it's funny because he literally like just soccer ball when the anime starts, but by the end of it he's scoring like these crazy goals that he would never score in his life.
Yeah.
Granted, they do like have these moments where you can tell like he still kind of sucks throughout the anime. Like different things will happen,
Yeah.
but one of the things that I did like was that again his whole thing is he just works really hard. So especially in soccer, like you might not be the best soccer player, technically gifted player, but if you work really hard, you could be a great defender. And that was one of the things that they actually again, and with every anime that we talk about here, there will be no spoilers. Um,
For
Granted,
the most part, and then
yeah,
if there are, we'll give a little bit of notification beforehand, and then it's up to you. It's up to
yeah,
you
it's up to you if you want to listen or not.
listen if you don't want it.
Yeah,
You can mute us
you
for
can
a little
mute
bit.
us for yeah. But again, like I don't even think there's anything you could really spoil in this show. But that was one of the things that I liked because again, he was not the best soccer player, but he worked really hard. So defensively, that was like the thing that they focused in on with him was like
Yeah.
he's always one of the hardest working guys on the field and he'll put everything on the line to make that tackle or make sure that guy doesn't get past him. Um, I think it's an easy show to watch. I definitely wouldn't tell anybody to go rush and watch it. It's not a show like that. If you happen to have some time and want to check it out, I think it's something that you could get into very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Don't expect the soccer in the anime is not it's not real soccer. Like some of the way the players attack, like when the team attacks together, like things like that is just not how soccer works at all. But I think it was a pretty easy watch, and if you're looking for just a show that's gonna make you laugh here and there, and you just want to watch basically some kids play some high school soccer and have some fun with it, then check it out for sure.
On a scale of like 1 to 10, where would you rate it on realism, since you did play soccer professionally?
Realism on a scale of one
Yeah.
to ten,
Yeah.
I'd probably give it like a 3 or a
Oh
4.
shit.
because there's just so many things, like maybe it's just me being critical because I did play soccer. I harp on like they'll show this guy kick a ball. The way he kicks the ball, it should bend a certain way, but it bends the exact opposite way.
Oh
Or
shit.
like it was almost like the people that created the show. Let me see, who was it? The studio behind it. Uh, Mappa. It was Mappa, who actually makes very good stuff. But I don't think they had anybody that really played soccer helping out with the show, or like
Yeah.
as one of the animators or anything. Um,
Like the
so yeah,
techniques weren't there.
yeah, definitely not. Like there were some things I was watching it that would happen. I'm just like, no, like that would never happen.
Hmm. All right, so we'll have to go back to your experience with this anime when we get to a certain other anime, because you watched this after you had already played. I'll get into the opposite side of it once we get there. All right, so our next one, my current favorite sports anime. I don't know about you, but like Haikyuu is hands down like one of the, not only one of the top anime that I've watched, but also just in terms of sports anime, it's got to be one or two for me. Like,
Mhm.
I, I know a lot of people have Kuroko no Basket or Slam Dunk because there's just classics, but for me, it's, I don't know. Maybe it's just like sports with like two sides and a net that that it really intrigued me, because I play tennis, so
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
it's just team tennis. But so here, rather than showing like the trailer for it, I took some of the clips, some of my favorite clips. So this is the time where there's going to be spoilers. I won't say what match it.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I won't say
Spoiler.
what
Spoiler.
match it is. I won't say what time of the match it is. But these are two of my favorite clips. I'm pretty sure it's one of your favorite clips too.
Yeah,
And
if you're
they're
not
just,
caught up on the show, you might want to skip out on this part for like
yeah.
a minute.
Oh, Shonen Showdown. Thank you for
Hey,
the
Shonen
follow.
Showdown.
What is
Appreciate it,
good?
my guy.
What is good? We'll have to get together soon. But yeah, so for Haikyuu, so this first scene that we're gonna play is probably one of the most hyped. I had a little bit of tears come out. I'm not gonna lie, but it's just
Oh
it's
yeah,
just so hyped.
this
Like
scene is so hype.
this, so this anime to me, it's actually hella funny too, because like after I got through the season before this, I was here. We'll pause it right here, real quick. So the season before this, I was like, "Yo, volleyball is sick." And then one of my coworkers at the time, he played volleyball, so he was just like running. He was running me through like, "Oh, like this is actually like kind of real." Um, and I was like, "Really? Like, I've never played volleyball like that before." So he was like, "Yeah, like the way that they hit it, the way that like the teamwork kind of goes around." And I'm like, "This is sick." I'm like, "I want to learn how to play volleyball." Yo, I went out and bought a volleyball net. I put it out in my backyard, and I had it set up, and like I ain't got like 12 people to just like constantly play with all the time. So it was like 2v2s, me, Tyler, Brandon, and my brother, and we're just hitting back and forth. And I did hell of research. I'm like, "Oh, this is how you have to serve. This is how you have to like set." And
My
like
man was bought in.
like I hung out with like Mitch and Frankie and George like
Yeah.
in high school. So they I remember back in high school they taught me, they were like, "Oh yeah, like when you go to set it, like you want to be like really really soft with it." And I'm like, "Oh shit." I'm like, "I'm goated now." I'm like I got the goats of New Jersey high school volleyball teaching me. So we went through that, and I think this anime is really kind of like, it exemplifies the the nice balance of like realism and, you know, things that are fake, because obviously when they go up to, you'll see it like later in the, I think the next clip, when they go up to spike it, you don't have that much time to think like, oh, I could hit here, here, or here, and this is the perfect spot, so I'm gonna just, you know, contort my body like this and then hit like the opposite angle. And I think that's the part that was like hype. This is actually the part that got me hype. Let's see when.
Suke.
Yeah. Right here.
Yeah, bro, this is one of my top sports anime, if not the top sports anime.
Yeah.
For sure.
This right here. When the animation gets like a little bit better and he's just, yeah.
Yeah, I think I watched that scene. Yeah, and then they all cheer.
Yeah.
I think I watched that scene like 7 times. And I remember Snapchatting you or like sending it to you, and I was like, yo, what just happened? What just happened?
So
it was sick.
So this is the second, like, one of my other top scenes, and this just shows like the side like bordering unrealistic in terms of like their technique and stuff. That anime pose, the you are next. Look how far he's hitting this, and it's just a perfect straight line drive.
Yeah, not happening. Although, when you watch these dudes play in the Olympics, man,
yo,
they do wild things too. Moment of silence for the 2020 Olympics.
I know. Actually, in the next anime, or in the second 2 animes from here, I think, one of my cousins, it's like a second cousin. He was gonna be in the Olympics for it, actually.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Badminton. Yeah, like this. It's those reactions. It's the he's gonna hit it from there. Like, you know, when we're watching sports, I think the closest thing that we can probably relate it to, like, as of recent, is like, what, when Curry goes up for like those like half court shots, you're like, yo, he's shooting it from there. But, you know, if you're in the crowd, you're not thinking in your head like, Curry shoot deep, like,
yeah.
like from half court, impossible.
Yeah, but now it's like, yeah, seeing these clips, and then like you said, related it to real life.
Yeah.
Even now with the Michael Jordan documentary going on, seeing clips of what he did.
Yeah.
Bro, what? Like you said, it's like Curry shooting those random jumpers, or, you know, I was blessed enough to go to All-Star Weekend this year.
Yeah.
And Luka hit a shot from like half court easy in the World versus USA game. And it's things like that are just like, what? Like,
yeah, the like the larger than life moments.
Yeah, and I think sports and anime kind of helps you realize that those moments actually do happen in real life.
Yeah.
But you don't think about it that way as they do happen.
But yeah, so that was actually, wait, hold up 1 second.
This man's about to pull out some gear. What you got? What you got for us?
Let me get these back on real quick. So you just saw, you know, a nice little close up, but I got the damn ball literally after I watched it. Like, when my friend, he was trying to like teach me how to play volleyball and everything, I'm like, all right, Amazon.com, and I'm like, let me get the same one in Haikyuu. I would like lay down on my floor and be like, and just be like setting. Yo, I was hyped. I think that's
one of join the Karasuno team, bro.
Yo, I think that's one of the things about like sports anime, because kind of like how we are with video games, you know, like yeah, it's cool to watch, you know, other like sports video games, but then it's also one thing to like play, like a shooter, because those are things, obviously you're not going to do. A good person is not going to do in real life. So like, you get that like otherworldly experience, whereas like sports anime, it relates so close to you that you can get hyped on a different level because you're like, wait, I can go and do this.
Yeah, for sure.
It's almost like you're inspired by by the anime, which
For sure. And Shonen
actually,
Showdown,
yeah,
100% agree. Haikyuu is top tier, 10 out
yeah.
of 10.
Shonen Showdown.
Go.
Tell us your favorite scene in Haikyuu.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah,
again, so
10 out
that.
of 10. And you can watch it like at what? You can watch it on Netflix, on Crunchyroll,
Mm-hmm. One thing that
and the
upset
English
me.
dub is very good.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing. Sports anime and English dub are actually I would rate them a little bit like higher than other anime that are like English dub, just because I guess we're just so used to English sports anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
makes sense.
but one thing with Haikyuu, for all those viewers who are tuning in, um, they're in one of like the the sickest arcs that I've seen, but they're on delay because of COVID and everything going on in the world. So they won't be coming back until I think July. I think it's like July 22nd or something like that.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, the second half of the season is coming out in July. And I thought it was just like the weirdest way they did it. I told you about this multiple times, but like
Mm.
they stopped mid-match. It's one thing if you stop before the match or like when it just ends, but one of the guys just had like a sick catch line, and then they're like, all right, well, we're going on hiatus until July, and I'm like, oh gosh.
That's honestly all.
Mm.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely agree. Like their friendship, so their first rivalry and then friendship is
Oh
so fun
yeah.
to watch because at least for me, I can relate to that because I had kind of had the same thing with my soccer career in like college. When I first went to school, it was like I had a rivalry with somebody that played the same position as me, but I had to go in there and prove to him like, I think I got this. I think I got this spot. I think you should find another one. But
I'm the
we
one.
worked together because it was so much more important for the team to be better, and
Yeah.
it actually worked out for both of us because I went on to play professionally, and then he also went on to play professionally in the new position that he found.
Oh
So
shit. All right. So our next anime. So going back to how you were with Days, how you saw it afterwards, after you played professional soccer or while you were playing,
mm,
this next anime actually got me into playing the sport, and then I played in school and everything. So, as you can tell in the background, it's tennis. So we're going
yes,
to
sir.
a classic. I watched this when I was so young. The Prince of Tennis. So this one, shout out to Bobby. Bobby was the one. He was like, what was that tennis anime? And I'm like, Prince of Tennis. And this one pushes the borders a little bit more of like unrealistic, just because in this clip, this dude literally he hits it on one side of the racket and then lets it go, spins the racket, and the ball travels all the way around, so it has like extra backspin. And I'm like, hey yo, like this is never going to happen. But I remember like watching this, and I'm like, damn, like tennis looks so fucking sick. Like I'm gonna go play. And then shit, I played in high school, so
Yeah.
like I wasn't good because I never had lessons, and I guess you can say I was basing my skills off of an anime, but
Yeah, Shonen, I feel that, bro. Definitely respect that.
mm. But yeah, like I remember like in this anime, they're like, again, like the reactions, when we're in a match and like someone hits like a crazy smash or whatever, we're not like, I don't look at like my doubles partner, or if I'm playing like singles, and I'm not like, impossible. Like his signature move, the jumping smash. But yeah, like shit, this had me hyped, and this is one that I actually like devoted time. Like, you know, volleyball is like team sport. Tennis is you're by yourself. So I was able to just learn it. You know what I mean? Like I can go out and hit a ball, and I'm not gonna be good at it, but I'm gonna learn it.
Yeah, for sure. Tennis
And
is one of those things I could never figure out.
it's crazy. Like, I mean,
When I hit the
shit,
ball,
Bobby
it just
played.
goes up. It doesn't go up and come back down. It just goes up.
I think it wasn't until like just recently where I kind of like honed everything in, because all throughout high school and everything, I was just really bad at keeping the ball in, and I would just try to
Mm.
power through everything. I'm like, well, if I'm stronger than the opponent, like I'm just gonna like the anime mindset, like if I'm stronger, I'm better. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I was always like, balls in the air, I'm just gonna fucking kill it, and it would just be like, boom out the court, boom out the court, and I'm like, okay, let me tone it back now, and like have technique instead.
Yeah.
Bobby says, "For you, lessons are free." Yeah, Bobby. Once quarantine's over, teach me, teach me the ways of Cyprus tennis.
Cypress tennis.
But yeah, like look at this scene that's coming up. Like final counter.
Yeah, typical.
Just
What the what? No way.
to the backside of the racket. Like,
Yeah, that's just one of those things. It's just like, come on.
yeah, the I there's one scene in this Bobby's training in the mountains. But yeah, like there's one scene in this anime. There's like a character who like he refuses to use a normal racket. He uses a racket that's strung with one string down the middle and one string across. And he's like, I'm just so accurate with it. I don't need the other strings. And then that's like when I have like the mindset of you, like who has played tennis before and then seen the anime. You're like, well, that's completely unrealistic because you can't, you're not gonna hit it where they cross every single time, like smack dab in the middle, and then your shots are just like, I mean, it's a ball. You're trying to hit a ball with like a pin, basically. So, but yeah, like that anime that got me hyped. I actually learned tennis from it. That was one of the things where sports and anime actually like motivate you to go outside, because before that, I think the only time I would really like go outside and play sports or like if the boys are like, yo, like let's go shoot around or something. And I'm like,
Mm,
sure.
yeah,
I'm
whatever.
like I'm like we could play video games, but I guess if you want to play basketball outside, sure. And then it was like tennis. It's like, yo, let's play tennis. I'm like, yes, let's play tennis. Let's keep playing.
All in.
Yeah, but yeah, that's like, and there you see it, two sides of like the same coin, where you you played and then you saw and then I saw and then I played.
Yep.
So the next one, I think it's very similar to, I guess I grouped all of these together with nets in the middle and playing on
Yeah.
both sides.
Well, yeah, this one we got Hanebado. I feel like this one was pretty popular when it came out. It came out summer 2018.
Damn, that
But as
long
you can see,
ago.
it's about, yeah, dude, it feels like yesterday, but yeah, it was summer 2018.
Hmm.
But yeah, as you can see, this one's badminton. And this was this was another one that started off really hot, just started off so well.
Hmm.
And another one that could have been so good, but it was one where they tried to put in too much drama, you know? If
Yeah.
they had focused more on the sport and dialed back the melodramaticness of it, it definitely would have been a much better show. But anyway, just brief synopsis. You have, let's see, Nagisa. She gets destroyed in a junior badminton tournament
Hmm.
by,
Someone who would
uh,
eventually be her teammate.
yeah, basically. Yeah, she gets destroyed by Ayano, and then eventually down the road they become teammates. And it just takes you on this journey of basically Nagisa trying to work her way back and do whatever she has to do to make up for her loss to Ayano in the past. Because when I say destroyed, Ayano literally beat her 21-0 in a badminton match. Like that is unheard of.
And
And
it was like the way that she beat her too, where
yeah,
it was like defense, right?
it was that, and like Ayano's just like super. She was a super cold person.
She was locked
Um,
in.
and obviously Nagase didn't know why, but you learn that throughout the show why she. Um, and again, it was another one. The animation was incredible. I think that was the best part of the show,
Yeah.
and that's what upsets me the most about the way they went about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could have been a really good show, like a really, really good show, if they had focused more on actually playing badminton and showing the mechanics of badminton
Yeah.
rather than playing badminton and introducing this story that was like the
It was
most
so like far
unrealistic.
gone.
Yeah, the most unrealistic, one of the most unrealistic storylines I've ever seen in any show, especially for a show that's technically a slice of life show
Yeah.
because it takes place in school and everything. So yeah, I definitely don't know if I would recommend it to a bunch of people.
I'd recommend like the first 5 episodes.
Literally, before things take a turn for the worse.
Yeah.
Like,
I
if you
I
just
think
want to see some cool badminton shots or some really good animation, then
Mhm.
definitely check it out. But you'll know once it takes a turn for the worse.
Yeah, I think the part of it that like killed me was it was like all of the dramatic stuff happened all at one time. What are our
Mm,
favorite sports anime? It's that I mean, for me, it's definitely got to be Haikyuu and Prince of Tennis. And I'm currently watching Ahiru no Sora, which is like filling the basketball gap. But it's it's a weird animation for it, but I like it, and I want to see where it goes. And it's a 50 episode series, so I at first I thought it was like a 12, 13 episode, but now it's 50. So I'm like, okay, well I'll ride with it.
yeah, for sure. And then I guess for me, it would have to be Haikyuu's definitely up there. Run with the Wind, I thought it was a really sick anime.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I just binged Ping Pong last night, and that was incredible as well. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah. um, but yeah, like when they introduced all of the drama at once, where it was like, oh, mid mid tournament, oh, like one character's knee is giving out, and she has to fight through it, and then also you find out that like, oh, you have like a low key sister, but it's not.
Yeah,
Like it's not, and it's one of the reasons why like your mom left, and then there's like a dark past, and like that's why you're so cold. It's just it was too many different like storylines trying to meet up at once. I think if they went the Haikyuu route where it was like, oh, they played the tournament, then they go through some like struggle, then it would have been good. But yeah, they they wasted the animation on the last 3 episodes.
yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's see what's
You
the
got
next
up
one.
next.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Chihaya Furu. Have you seen Chihaya Furu?
No, I haven't. I haven't. At least.
Okay. So this is one. This is one that some people might not consider sports anime,
hmm
but I think it's a sports anime. If you ever look up like Karuta videos or Karuta competitions,
hmm
you'll see how intense they are. And because the whole thing is about reaction speed and timing and just being basically faster than the other person. And a lot of sports are about timing and reaction and being faster than the other person. So I think that's why I would consider it a sports anime. But Chihaya Furu is again about a girl named Chihaya, and she grew up playing karate, and she has two friends, Taichi and what's her Arata is her other friend's name. But basically, it just is a story about how they were friends growing up. They grew up together childhood, and they come back together in school and start playing karate together again. And this is one that I think balances the storyline and the sport itself perfectly. Um, I think I would recommend this to anybody, honestly. Like the storyline is good, the art style's a little bit different, but it's Madhouse, and the
Mhm.
animation's really good. Um, and the soundtrack behind the show the aesthetic of the aesthetic of it's just brilliant, like so good.
The
And
trailer was like hella warm.
yeah, right. And it has its like really funny moments. Chihiya's great. Taichi's best boy, better than Arata. But yeah, highly recommend. And it might get you into a new sport. Like you remember when we went to Anime NYC, we walked by that one table and I was like, oh shit, they're playing karate. They're showing people how
Oh,
to play
oh
karate.
yeah,
But we didn't have enough time to go check it out because I was like, damn, I want to come back and learn because like
yeah. That's the thing about. I mean, we have a whole thing about anime conventions, but anime conventions, like if you don't go like and like at least have some sort of plan, it's always like the first one that you go to, you are just so utterly lost because there's so many things that you want to do because you'll either want to drop like hella money on just like merch,
everything.
which is like what we did. And it wasn't even like my first anime convention either. Like this was like my third or fourth, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna drop money anyway.
Yeah, this is
But
my first, so I'm crazy.
but at least it was like, you want to drop money or you want to, you get your sidetracked with like an anime that you've seen, and you want to like go do stuff with that. But then you also see the new anime, and then you're like, oh shit, I completely forgot about all of the panels going on about
Yeah.
all the premieres, all the movies, and then you meet homies.
Yeah, my guy, Shonen Showdown, my guy Rob.
That was that was so funny. We literally, I'm like, all right, I'll be right back. I just need to go run for this Code Geass thing really
Yeah, literally.
quick. Literally, like it was like, oh yeah, I'll pre-order. They're like, oh here, you get the autograph ticket to meet, what was her name? The voice actress for C2, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm like, I gotta go, I guess. Literally
Yeah.
have nothing. I have nothing to sign because I didn't know that was a thing, and then just race back. But yeah, like anime conventions are great. We need to get back there because this quarantine sucks.
Yeah. But that's Chihaya Fudu.
Oh,
Definitely recommend.
and there you go. Run with the Wind. Tell us a little bit about this.
Bro, you haven't seen this one either, right?
No, I haven't. I
Yo,
have not.
Run with the Wind had me ready to run 10 miles a day.
Oh
Like,
shit.
when I tell you, like, that's another element of a really good sports anime when it can motivate you to want to play that sport or do
Yeah.
whatever they're doing. Like, that is Run with the Wind. And it's funny because I've talked to so many people that have seen that show and they say the exact same thing. They all come out of it like, yo, I was ready to run marathons after I watched this show. Like, and first off, Prince is the best character in the show. You'll figure out who that is once you watch it. But anyway, Run with the Wind. You have Kakadu, who is like this Olympic. Basically, he should be an Olympian. He's
Yeah.
like a crazy runner. And then you have he runs into Haji, who is like the captain of the team,
Hmm.
and he's trying to get students to join the club. So he sees how good Kakadu is and persuades him to join the club. And then
The
so he ends up joining
typical
the
join us, please.
yeah. So he ends up joining the club, and it's actually the dormitory for the Kansai track club, which he didn't know.
Okay.
But so he joins, and the team is like they're not very good.
Yeah.
They're all basically beginners. And as the anime goes on, it just goes about their journey and their training and everything to prepare for the Hakone Ekiden, which is like one of the biggest races in all of Japan.
Okay.
One of the biggest like university marathon relay races or something. I think it's like a let me see. I think it's like a 100-mile total. It's crazy the amount that they have to run.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
but
It's the Gran
this
Turismo of running.
seriously, but this show, let me see. This show literally had me like I was like, all right, I need new running shoes. Like I'm gonna train. I'm gonna be a marathon runner. Telling it literally, I don't think it was the Hakone Ekiden that I watched, but when all the quarantine stuff started happening, I think it was just like a trial stuff that they had going on in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
and they were showing it on TV, and I sat down and watched it. I've
Oh
never
shit.
done that before, ever, but ever since I watched the show, like I think I gained more of a respect for running,
Mm-hmm.
and because before it's like, why would you run for fun?
Yeah.
Like who
Yeah.
wants to run for fun? But after seeing this show, it's like so much goes into the determination for each of the characters in the show to basically like kill themselves trying to reach their goal was just something that resonated with me because
Yeah.
I'm all about you just got to put in the work, and once you put that work, everything pays off. So this is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Oh shit. I gotta watch it then. I should have
Yeah,
watched this like a couple weeks before. Well, not a couple weeks, couple months actually before like quarantine started. I started running more and more, and like
mm,
following runners like on YouTube and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I'm training for the marathon and everything," and I'm like, this is kind of sick. I'm like, you guys put a lot into it. I'm like, it's not just like one like left right. You know, it's there's a lot more you got to think about, and it's like a mental game. And I'm like, I want to test myself, but now I should have watched this back then. It would have motivated me even more.
oh, bro, I'm telling you, like especially with the quarantine on,
Yeah.
staying safe at home, like you'll just want to go run. And like sometimes even now I'll be out running, and whether I'm getting tired or something, I literally think back to this anime and I'm like, all right, control my breathing. All right, keep this pace. Like literally, like you laugh, but it's serious.
It's all right. Just channel run with the wind into my essence, basically.
literally, literally.
Oh my gosh.
It's such a dope show, man. Yeah, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10, just great.
it was it was as soon as you left. Maybe you were the key. Um, but basically we're talking about the infotainment anime. How many kilograms are the dumbbells that you lift? And this one, it's a funny anime. It's a funny anime, and it's actually very very informational. Um, and like I was saying before the stream cut out, unfortunately, now we're back though. Uh, it like I've been going, I've been actually like seriously lifting for like 3 years now, 3 4 years, and the information that they provide here is actually it's super accurate in terms of like the form. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't want to go strictly off of an anime when you're
Mm,
especially when you're going to lift like heavy weights, but it it is accurate in terms of a lot of the aspects that they say, like arch your back during the bench, then press upwards but then like kind of back. And I'm like, damn, I wish someone would have told me that, when like when I was starting to lift. So what we'll get through the scene first, and then we'll get your thoughts on it. So this scene is it's one of the funniest things. So Hibiki Sakura, she is the main character, the blonde girl, and she was, like you said, she was like gaining weight. So she wanted to lift, and it turns out she has like very very latent like abilities of she's just super strong. Like, and then there's Machio right here who he's a bodybuilder, and when you first meet him he's like super scrawny, and then he just like breaks through his shirt like this. And it's such a funny entertaining anime, and yeah, I would consider it sports. It's lifting.
yeah, for sure, absolutely. And again, like I said before, I think it's one of those shows that gets people wanting to lift or like wanting to do the activity that whatever the anime is. So
Mhm.
I think that makes it a good sports anime in my eyes, and it's funny. It is a hilarious show.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, there's like I said, there's tons of waifus.
Fubuchino said the Bible is an amazing manga. Chapters 1 through 5 were written by this guy named Moses, but for some reason the author changed around. What the fuck?
Oh
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go check that one out. That one sounds very interesting. I don't know why they would switch up the author. At least, hey, I mean, at least the author didn't go on hiatus, or the illustrator, he didn't go on hiatus.
That's top comment I've seen.
Yeah. But yeah, like this, you were saying before that they did like kind of a study where they asked like a bunch of like I guess like personal trainers or whatever if this is actually accurate information that is being put out, and it is.
Yeah, yeah, for the most part. Obviously, like the animation isn't always perfect when they're showing exercises,
Mm-hmm.
so don't go off the animation. But I've heard that the manga explains more in depth and actually is even better than what the anime shows.
Dope. And I just like I like the way that they combine like where it's like unrealistic or whatever, but I like the way they combine kind of like the comedy. This is one of the sports anime that really utilizes like humor very very well, I would
Yeah, for
say.
sure.
Okay, and yeah, so that was how many kilograms are the dumbbells you lift. It's a very very short anime. It's very funny. They have Barnold Schwarzenegger
Yeah.
and Jason Statham.
Hmm.
Um, I think one of like my favorite things was when the one chick, she's just like, "Oh, what's your name?" and she's like, "Fuck the Budo."
Yeah.
But here we'll move on to I think it's our last one.
Let's see. Clean freak Aoyama-kun. So this one's one of mine. Another soccer anime, and this one, as far as the sport in it, as far as soccer goes, I think it actually displays or shows soccer being played the right way, as far as like kicking mechanics and different things. But the whole premise of the show really focuses more so around Aoyama-kun, who, as you can see, is a clean freak. He's an absolute germaphobe. He, like, even on the soccer field, it's part of what makes him so plays because he hates when people touch him. So like
Oh shit.
he's able to just dribble past people, or he'll only get dirty for the last like 5 minutes of a game. So then he like really gets after it. He'll actually get. But even when he gets dirty, he like freaks out and has like an anxiety attack.
Oh shit.
But this one was definitely. I loved the show. I thought the show was hilarious. Their character, pure comedy, and like him as a character is just so funny. He's literally like so monotone and so just like a wet rag.
Yeah.
But when it comes to him play, like he's a dope soccer player. Like he's super good, but he just hates being dirty or like getting touched. So like any scene with him in the anime, he's like cleaning something or cleaning himself or sanitizing something. Like he was prepared for everything that's going on. Like he would be fine.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah, it's just a super fun watch. Super easy to get into. Like you're not. It doesn't take itself too seriously at any point. It knows it's just for fun. Um, so yeah, I think it's like I said, the side characters in the show are just hilarious. So I think it's just a great watch for anybody.
That's dope. That's dope. I feel like I can relate to this in a way because like when I was younger and like my parents like they signed me up for a sport. I think the first sport that I actually played was soccer. Like like
Mm-hmm.
how rec, in at Oak
Yeah.
Glen, and my like the main thing was like as a kid I just didn't like getting dirty. So
Mm.
exactly like this, where like if I fell on the ground, I would be like full like airplane mode, like not touching it like with my hands or whatever. Literally just like trying to elevate myself like Mission Impossible style. Um, but yeah, like that's funny as hell. That he's so good, but doesn't like to be like touched by the competition.
Yeah, yeah, it's so funny. It's hilarious, honestly.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so those were like our recommendations and like some of the sports anime that you can watch. Chris, for you, what makes sports anime like what makes it so different than regular other anime that we watch, and like why should if you like why would you recommend a sports anime to anyone?
Um, I think, like I said in the beginning of the show, I think sports anime are just super relatable because I would say most people at
Hmm.
some point or another have played a sport in their life,
Yeah.
and I think sports are a universal thing. So like even if it's soccer from like I watch English Premier League soccer. I don't live in England, but like I'll watch soccer from Japan. I'll watch soccer from literally anywhere, and it's just a universal sport. I mean, not every sport is universal, but I think sports in general are something that everybody can kind of relate to and get behind. And the feeling of competition and being in a team setting, if it's a team sport, or having to rely on your own skill and your own will, if it's an individual sport like you with tennis,
Hmm.
I think that's something that everybody can relate to. And I think sports are just a big metaphor for a lot of things in life. Like when times are getting tough, you either lay down and quit and give up, or you work harder and do what you have to do so you don't lose that next game or you don't miss that shot, or anything like that. So I think that's what makes sports anime easy to recommend to a lot of people that either don't really watch anime or even people that love anime. I think
Yeah.
sports anime are just fun to watch.
It's a universal thing.
Yeah. How about you?
uh yeah, I think I mean, for one, I think I could recommend like sports anime just because like, a lot of people there's like a stereotype about like people who like watch anime and like, like like culture and stuff where like, oh, like they don't like going outside, they don't like being active, chances are like they're overweight or something like that. Like that's like
Hmm.
the super super like stereotypical like weeb, in
Yeah.
in a way. So I would recommend like the sports anime because like, well, one, if you do by chance fall into that stereotype, it might inspire you to go out, and then two, it might show that to people who like think that way and think that like all weebs are like out of shape, you show them like an anime like that's about sports, and then maybe they're like, oh, I thought it was only going to be about like 2D girls with like out like misproportioned size like bodies and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
oh, like we're the ninjas, we're the pirates, where's like the fight scenes and stuff like that, and through that it might change like their point of view, and it might be a gateway anime so that they go and watch like other stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And again, have to shout out the number one sports anime ever made, Keijo. If you don't know what
Oh
Keijo
my
is, you should look it
gosh.
up.
Keijo is the ultimate fan service anime.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But no, thanks for everybody that joined us. Thanks for everybody that stuck with the technical difficulties we were having. We
Yes.
finally figured it out.
Yes,
This
bless you,
was
bless you.
episode 4/3.5, kind of. But there's all your sports anime. No, everybody's missing sports right now, so if you need to get that fill, check out anime. There's tons of sports anime out there. There might not be an anime for every sport. I'd love to see like an ice hockey anime or curling or bowling or something because I think it'd be cool to see. I think they could animate it really well, but there's an anime for most sports out there. There's even an American football anime. I haven't seen it, but
Hmm.
it's called Eye Shield 21 or something.
Yeah.
But definitely, like, if you guys are looking to fill that sports gap that we all have right now, definitely look into some anime. Check it out. You might find a new love for anime, and you might find a new sport that'll motivate you or something that you might be willing to try. So,
Once quarantine's over, of course.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
stay
for sure.
inside for now. Once
Yeah, for
quarantine's over,
sure.
then you can go.
Yeah, stay safe. Stay safe out here.
Hmm.
But
uh,
again,
yep.
Chris, you can tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me right here, Instagram at Chinstant Noodles, or on Twitter too. I'm not really like super active on Twitter, but it's at Chinsanity. Same with you know, two N's, one, two. There you go. And then what about you?
Yeah, so you can find me Instagram right now. Wait, I'm a little high over there.
Oh,
Oh,
other
there
way.
there we go. Chris Hill 19 underscore on Instagram. I'm on here on Twitch at Chillindo with three E's. You can find me. And, we're on Instagram at Senpai Talk Show as well. So if you guys can throw us a follow there, that'd be great. We'll be posting some updates and some new content up there. And we'll also be having a YouTube channel coming soon where
Mhm.
if you missed episodes or, just want to catch up on something, you can catch us on YouTube as well.
All right,
So
cool.
that's all we got for you guys. So see you on Sunday. And on Sunday, what are we talking Sunday? Favorite anime scenes, manga talk, I
Okay.
believe.
Hey, the manga. I gotta check this one out. The Bible.
Yeah, so again, we'll see you guys Sunday at 7 p.m. right on here.
Peace, y'all.